John Waage is going to join us now to talk about the House and Senate. John, the polls show Biden with huge leads in even states like Texas as a toss-up. And then what happened to that so-called blue wave?
Well, Pat, it's something we talked about late last week. The pollsters were pretty much wrong on this. They had a built-in Biden lead that wasn't really there. And of course, yes, Texas is getting a little bit closer than it was in the 1980s and the 1990s. Ted Cruz, for instance, had to hold on 2 years ago to keep his Senate seat. But it's a baked-in thing, that an oversampling of Democrats that the pollsters, generally speaking, had it wrong on that blue wave. They had Biden with leads that didn't hold up through Election Day voting.
Well, now, we were looking at the Senate, and you've got Tuberville taking a seat in Alabama. You've got Tillis apparently holding on in North Carolina. You've got Lindsey Graham winning again after a huge influx of money. You've got Mitch McConnell holding on in Kentucky again after a huge bunch of money. It looks like even Susan Collins might win again in Maine.
That's right.
But you called Cory Gardner. He's lost already in Colorado to Hickenlooper. And I don't know if you were figuring on McSally going down in Arizona, but it looks like she's lost there.
Yeah, I had picked her to win. She lost. But all the races that are still outstanding that haven't been called yet, and I'm talking about Tillis in North Carolina is ahead of his opponent, Cal Cunningham. And also Montana, Steve Daines held on and won. In Alaska, the votes are still being counted. They're very slow to be counted in Alaska. Dan Sullivan is maintaining a lead there. Joni Ernst did win in Iowa. In Georgia, there's going to be a runoff between Kelly Loeffler, the current senator, and her Democratic opponent. That'll be in December, and that looks good for the Republicans because they had two GOP candidates with Doug Collins, and so she should be able to take that seat in December. The other Georgia race, David Perdue held on. Yeah. Against John Ossoff. So really, all the Republicans currently in the outstanding races are in the lead. So they do have a possibility, with the exception of John James, who would be an upset, and he has tens of thousands of vote lead that may be shrinking along with President Trump's in Michigan. But that would be another one that would pull a Democratic seat away and give it to a Republican. So we're looking at the possibility of the prediction I made last week, 53-47, holding up and staying that way for the next Senate session.
All right, and the last, of course, the House. You thought that the Republicans would, the Republicans would take the House, and I didn't agree with you, but right. How is that shaping up?
Well, the last check with the Associated Press, it's 181 Democratic seats, 188 Democratic seats, 181 GOP seats. That leaves about 59 seats still to be decided. I looked up several races in California, including Darrell Issa and a couple others where there's 3 or 4 where Republicans are in the lead. Now, some of them are currently held by Republicans, but those races have not been called yet. There are plenty of races that Republicans are likely to win if their leads hold up. So yeah, right now they have a net gain of 4. We'll see, how it closes out. I don't think they're going to get to 17, but what they were saying last night and a lot of the predictions was that the Democrats were going to add to their lead, and right now they're not.
Well, that's interesting. Well, I thought surely Orange County in California is pretty strong Republican, and they lost in that business about pre-existing conditions. The president was so busy talking about the border wall that he let the Democrats come in with an issue that they weren't prepared for. But I think this time around, well, by the way, nobody even mentioned the electoral vote for California. It was presumed that Biden would win it.
They called it early for California.
Well, I figured they would. Yeah. How many electoral votes do they have, by the way?
55, I believe.
55. Well, it's big. You add that to New York and New Jersey, and then That's
Yep.
the core of the Biden support. Okay.
That's what's put him in the lead so far, yeah.
All right. Well, John, thank you, and thank you for your analysis.